Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan, and my guest today is, oh, now I'm getting Robin Allen. I apologize. My brain just went blank. And she is a mother, nutritionist, entrepreneur, and the founder of Necessary Nutrition, Inc., and the creator of the Necessary Nutrition brand of vitamin D3. And so I am going to let her introduce herself a little bit more and tell us how she got into this area of nutrition and what she's doing now.
Thank you, Susan, for having me. When you were saying my name and you were like, my brain. And I do that, right? As we get older, we go into a room and we're like, okay, why did I go in this room? We knew we were going there for something, but when we got there, we couldn't remember all the time. And I remember when I was younger, my mother would do that now that I'm older. And then she says, it'll happen. And so it's happening. And sometimes I'm trying to think of a word like what's the word? So
yes,
I think everybody can relate to that.
Oh yeah.
It is. So my name is Robin and I am a nutritionist, and as you mentioned, the creator of Necessary Nutrition Vitamin D, which we can talk about that later and how I even got to that. But I've been a nutritionist. Well, I've been paying attention to my health for about 17 years, and I wasn't born as a person that even thought or paid attention to my health. But there's a point where you have an issue, a challenge. And I was pre-diabetic, overweight, and I realized that food will either kill you or keep you alive. That the illnesses and diseases we face are due in part to what you put in your mouth or what you don't put in your mouth. And I was fascinated about the power of food and everything that I didn't know. And I believe that you can relate to that. And when I just started to uncover it, I had a career shift. So when I went to college, that wasn't the path that I took initially. And then later on, I pivoted to focus on nutrition. And I like to say, I want to help people use food and nutrition to live their best lives. Food is so powerful, and oftentimes we don't realize it. When as a nutritionist, seeing the shifts that happen in our bodies when we give our bodies what it needs and we remove what doesn't support us, then the magic happens. And I've been just super, super passionate about that for the past many, many years. And then when it comes to vitamin D, because people are like, okay, why vitamin D? It's an easy deficiency to have, and it's also an easy deficiency not to have. And it's so critical to so many of the systems in our bodies, and people don't realize all of the parts that vitamin D touches. And it's almost like a stepchild, I think. I don't think it's talked about enough. And I love to talk about it and enlighten folks. And as I said, it's an easy deficiency to have. And it's also an easy one not to have. And as we get older, over 50, older, we need it more. So that's kind of my how I got here. And I'm just passionate about sharing.
Yeah. No, that's all of that is wonderful. I think it's interesting with vitamin D because it used to be a long time ago that people spent a lot more time in the sun. Okay. Right. And they got their vitamin D.
Correct.
And now, as time has gone on, the being in the sun isn't so wonderful because of the fact of whatever it's called, the atmosphere is getting a lot thinner. And so we're getting a lot more of the other stuff if we're out in the sun. And like so many other things in human nature, people always think, okay, I need more vitamin D, no problem. And then they take like 5 times more than they need.
Right.
Yeah.
So So vitamin D comes from the sun, right? And when we go into the sun, the rays hit our skin and then our bodies are able to produce it. And it is true in this day and age, we're not in the sun as much. Now with the computers, right? We're inside. And then when the pandemic happened, we were really inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then so there's that challenge that we're not in the sun. And then there's things that the sun can do to damage our bodies, but it's such a powerful force, right? To give us heat. Vitamin D also can be achieved through food.
Mm-hmm.
Mushrooms, you can get it out of fatty fish. There's some fortified foods, some orange juices, some cereals to get. I always recommend everyone that is listening to first, when you're going to get your physical, if you are not offered to have your levels checked, and you are not always offered, which is interesting, because if it's so critical to human health, why would that not be a standard test? And I believe that as time is going on, that will be. But if you're going to your doctor, please request that. The other part is, and as we know, things change and evolve, that your levels, you might say, you might be at 30 and your doctor may say, that's good. And you can I always just say, don't take anybody's word for it, right? So I'm going to say things to you, and I want you to always fact check and verify, because there's a lot of information out there and sometimes competing information.
Yeah.
But what we know is that when your levels are between 60 and 80 levels of your vitamin D, your body is maximally supported. That doesn't mean that if it's at 30 or 40, that your levels are not sufficient, because they're not insufficient at that level, but maximally supported. Your bones, your gut, your immune system, your heart, all your systems that you need, maximally supported. When your vitamin D is lower, then there's a deficiency, which can show up as mood changes, muscle pain, getting sick faster, all kinds of things. Again, I say this, and I'll continue to say, it's an easy deficiency to have and easy not to have. So when you go to your doctor, have them check, and then the sun, beautiful. Go, not just for vitamin D, right? Going outside is giving. So you want to do that. You want to eat the foods that are supporting you. And then if need be, and for a lot of people, the need be to supplement. It's not for everybody, but if you are supplementing, then a lot of people do and need to, then do that. There is a point where there is such a thing as vitamin D toxicity. You would have to be taking a lot. And people, you don't want that. And so usually if you're supplementing, there is, you can get between 1,000 and 5,000 IUs, international units. And some people are like, okay, why 1,000? Why 2,000? We actually only offer 5,000 because we know that it is more potent. And with vitamin D, it stores. So you can, let's say I was taking my vitamin D and I forgot a day or two or a week, I could actually take more because it'll store in my body. It stores and it depletes. And so I take 5,000 every day. Again, I'm getting older and I need all of my systems to work. So I take vitamin D 5,000 every day. And my levels are the 65 range. And I'm consistent with that every day. So 5,000 is not too much to take a day. But do you want to take, 15,000 a day? No. What you want to do is know your levels. You want to know your levels. And if you know that you're low, you can do what's called mega dosing. So take more to get it up faster and then taper out. You are safe, generally speaking, if you're taking 5,000 units a day, you're good and you're maintaining. And there's several things I want you all to know about the different types and should you take it with K2, but I want to make sure that if you have questions for me, I don't want to just with
Yeah, no, I I guess part of it is, as well as you're talking, when we were talking about the sun, is number one, not everyone is efficient in getting vitamin D from the sun, right?
correct, correct,
Um,
correct.
and you probably don't want to be going out and spending a lot of time at high noon
Right,
in the
right,
sun,
right.
right?
Hmm.
And a lot of people, especially as you get older,
That
right?
is the case. We become less efficient at
Yeah,
producing as we
right,
get older.
right. And our skin gets thinner.
Yes, it
And
does.
so the sun, not just the vitamin D, but the sun then can um, create other issues
Other issues. Yeah. Other
with
issues.
it.
It's always this thing of something is good and something is bad,
That's
right?
right.
You have to think
Absolutely. That's life, right?
right. I always think about eggs. People are like, no, don't eat eggs. People are like, yes, eat eggs. I'm like, yes or no to eggs, right? So
Uh-huh.
there's always this, you have to look, because this is the thing. There's something that's good for some people in certain cases, and that
That's
same
right.
thing is not good for certain
That's
people.
right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And we have to figure out based on who we are, what we need and our
Yeah.
goals, what
Uh-huh.
works for us. And there is
Yeah.
no one size fits all. I would say this though, when it comes to food and nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to, if I may, define
Yeah.
what nutrition is and
Yeah.
what it's
Yeah.
not,
I was
right?
actually going to suggest maybe we pivot a little bit more
Yeah.
to a broader nutrition and not just be,
Yeah.
on so much on the vitamin D.
Because I am a nutritionist. So I
Yeah.
love talking about food.
Uh-huh.
And so think about this. Oftentimes when we eat, and something may be yummy to our tummy, right? We enjoyed whatever we had. Didn't necessarily mean that our body received nutrients from it. So when nutrition is designed for the purpose of building and repairing our bodies and for growth at a cellular level, your cells must have certain nutrients in order to do the things that you want your cells to do and protect you from harm.
Mm-hmm.
So if our cells are not receiving adequate nutrients, then we're stifled. And then when we're in such an environment that when you breathe, you have toxins and all of that. So we want to do the best that we can to give our cells all of the armor and the power. So
Yeah.
when we eat something, our body takes it, if there are vitamins and minerals available in that food, and puts it in and then buffers our cells. But if we're eating something that is lack of nutrients, does not have nutrients in it, then what does our body have to use? And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes with the food today, a lot of it is void of nutrition. Even some of the fruits and vegetables, if this makes sense to you, that fruits and vegetables, phenomenal, key for the nutrients for our bodies. Key, right? So, so important. It used to be 5 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 7 to 13 servings a day because
Wow.
right, the food that is grown, the soil is different.
Mm-hmm.
It travels. I had a what was it? Was it an orange? It was a piece of fruit that came from another country. And I was thinking, but we have that fruit here. So it
Mm-hmm.
travels. And
Yeah.
imagine this. Imagine this. When a fruit is grown or a vegetable and
Mm-hmm.
it has to travel all over the place, it can't be picked right? Because if it's
That's
picked
right.
right,
That's right.
then
Yep.
it's not going to last. And
Yep.
all the grocers, they want it to
Mm-hmm.
last. So it has to be picked prior to it being ripe. And when it's picked prior, then it doesn't have the nutrients in it because it needs to be fully ripe to have
Uh-huh.
everything in it. So
Got
it's
it.
and
Okay.
then it's sometimes it's made to be pretty because it's picked and it's not pretty. So maybe a tomato has to be shiny, it has to be red, has to be presentable, but it doesn't taste like a tomato of yesteryear. It doesn't give you the nutrition of a tomato of yesteryear,
Yeah.
but you think it's a tomato. So for that, if you're eating tomatoes or broccoli or fruits and vegetables, it's not giving the body at the same quality that it used to back. So then we need more of it in order to protect ourselves. And it's very difficult to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do. Yeah. Completely difficult.
Exactly. Not to mention all the stuff they spray on a lot of them, and that they put into the soil and all of that.
And so with nutrition, then we want to again give our bodies the best that we can so that it has the vitamins and the minerals. More, the better. The more produce, the better, because now you're having to compensate for it. And so that's what nutrition is. A lot of us are nutrient deficient because we're not getting it. And I don't believe in supplementation overall, even with like multivitamins. I don't really recommend that wholeheartedly. I don't, which is shocking because I create some supplements, but some of them we just don't need. But what we need is our bodies to have the food and that we can absorb it, right? Absorption.
Yes.
That's the other part of it. And when our gut is not a favorable environment, then the food doesn't go to where we need it to go. Yeah. So there's a lot to this. There is a lot.
Not surprisingly.
Yeah. There is a lot to go on. I always say to folks that, well, there's a lot. So actually I'll wait to make sure because I can talk about this. This is my.
That's okay. I'll cut you off when I want to go in a different direction. You're fine.
Very well. It's eating to live, right? Eating foods that give you life, but there is absolutely a time for enjoyment. So I will never tell anybody, don't eat the foods that you enjoy because no one wants to go through life not enjoying the things that they like. My strategy, and I'll say this, and when I say this, people, they like, oh, this sounds impossible for a lot of people, but I have a day or two on my calendar where I enjoy whatever without guilt, without thought. I just enjoy whatever's decadent, whatever. That is my dessert and or fun food day. That's what, and then some people say, no, I need 6 days a month, or I need whatever it is. That's just how I work my strategy with my food is enjoying a day of just pure bliss. And then I hop back on where I'm eating most of what my body needs. Yeah. And the other thing with food and nutrition, because sometimes even with fruits and vegetables, certain fruits and vegetables may not like you. They may not. Maybe cabbage doesn't like you. Maybe, some of they're healthy foods that they don't like you.
I have a big one of those. Yeah. Bell peppers. I can't even touch them.
Yeah. So that's why I say that fruits and vegetables generally are awesome.
That's right. Yep.
But some of them may not like you. And how you know it doesn't like you is you get an adverse reaction. You are bloated. You are gassy. It doesn't like you. And some things that liked you yesterday might not like you today.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Because we're ever evolving, which is beautiful. There's never a space for boredom, right?
Yeah. No, that's very true. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you're suggesting that, for some things in particular, maybe vegetables and fruits and I don't know, probably not desserts, but that we actually eat. Sorry, it's that time of year and the sun's coming through the
good sun.
Yeah.
Sun is here too.
But that that we should try and really eat more of, and that other things that, particularly some things, maybe, just use as a special treat
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Um,
Here's something important that I want to share. I think it's important
uh-huh,
that when we eat, so our bodies need certain nutrients all the time. We need vitamins, we need minerals,
yeah.
and those are micronutrients. But we also need what's called macronutrients, which is the fats, the carbohydrates, and the
Mm,
proteins, those
mhm,
two. And I would encourage everyone to, when they eat, that they are having with their carbohydrates. So if you're having toast or oatmeal or pasta, that you also include a protein and or good fat with
mhm,
that,
mhm,
because it
okay.
helps the blood sugar, it
Ah,
helps muscles, it helps even with weight management.
hmm,
So yeah, and a lot of times we don't know that. The older we get, and it depends. I hate saying the older we get, but it just depends. It depends on our lifestyle and
mhm,
what we don't do.
mhm,
But maybe we don't move as much,
mhm,
maybe, and our body is not able to process the carbohydrates into energy, and it may turn into sugar faster and store as fat. But when we're having that protein and that good fat, it helps to balance it out. And it
mm,
just, all of those nutrients, they belong together so that it does the best for our bodies. Yeah. So if
okay.
you're having oatmeal and you throw some walnuts on there, or if you're having, do an egg, or some people do tofu, it just depends, but those are protein sources, the egg,
Uh-huh.
tofu, um, or the walnuts have protein in it, good fat, you're
Mm,
combining it.
mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, it's good. Does the body good.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any, just out of popped into my brain here, are there any things that you shouldn't eat together?
So that also depends sometimes on biochemistry, right? So sometimes people
Oh,
say,
okay.
don't, so it really just depends.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes they're saying don't eat fruit with certain things. It really depends on you and your gut and your makeup
Ah,
on what you're doing.
okay.
But generally speaking, I want folks to know what to eat together, um, so that it best supports you. And again,
Uh-huh.
back to what you shouldn't eat. I'll tell you this: your body will tell you. It will tell you when it doesn't like what you're doing initially. But if you keep doing certain things, it may get used to it, and you just think that it's okay. What's
Uh,
interesting, when it comes to dairy and
mhm,
gluten,
mm,
now today they've become allergens in our bodies for a lot of people, not everybody, because of the way that they're being given to us.
mhm,
So when it comes to gluten, because now it's a crave, everything gluten free. In years,
yeah,
in the yesteryear, I say that wasn't a
yeah.
problem. It didn't bother anybody, but now why? There's a chemical glyphosate that is sprayed
Mhm,
on the wheat that
yeah.
bothers a lot of people and intestinally in our digestive system. So those are some foods that maybe a person is experiencing some health challenges seemingly unrelated to food and nutrition, aches and pains. You don't think, oh, because I had a piece of toast,
Mm,
my leg is inflamed. I mean, it's just
mhm,
things you're just like, oh, my eyes are
right.
red. It's not, you don't put them together, but it could be that that item is, your body doesn't like it, right? Or what
Uh-huh.
was sprayed on it, even with dairy, because of how it's produced, the chemicals that may be in the process.
Yeah.
Your body doesn't like it, or that we've absorbed so many chemicals that our body is overloaded. So something, again, there's so many challenges health wise that, and this I really want people to hear.
Mhm,
There's so many challenges health wise that we'll go to our doctor or physician
mm,
for remedies, and they seem completely unrelated to what we eat. Oftentimes, there is a connection. And I recommend, if ever, whenever you're having any health challenge, to do the following. One of them is to remove for 10 days gluten, so that's wheat, dairy, and sugar from your diet for 10 days.
Okay.
Drink a lot of water till your urine is clear. And no one's urine is clear in the morning. So from that urine on, you want to get lighter and lighter.
It doesn't count. Yeah.
It doesn't count. And then flood your body with whole foods for those 10 days, meaning that you're refraining from the processed foods. You are giving your body the lots of fruits and vegetables for 10 days and see how you feel. That will give you a dip your toe in the water, right? You say, oh, I feel better. I will go longer. Or I feel the same. So let me go to my doctor. I need some help. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you do those things, you may be shocked to find that some of your aches and pains are no longer. Maybe less brain fog, maybe a lot of things. You sleep better.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe not. But I say try that because that is inexpensive, something you can do yourself, and it can have a profound effect. And I know that. Yes, I do. So over and over again. And that gets me excited. If in fact someone is listening and they take that information and they do that and they see some results, then my job is done or good. Yeah. That's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. And it's good for you no matter what. Actually, just sometimes it's good to just eat clean for a little while and give your body a rest.
A pause. I do that every month for 10 days. Every month, consistently. And I don't like it, if I'm honest, because I want sugar. I want bread. I want everything that I want, right? And then those 10 days, I have to discipline and focus my mind. So that's fun, right? I get to ask myself, are you really hungry, or are you just So it's a game that I can play with myself. Yes. 10 days every month. That is my recommendation. 10 days every month, hit the pause on your self. Yeah. Do you do anything like that?
Not specifically. Part of what I do, which I probably shouldn't do, but I've gotten into a routine. Right. And I eat relatively healthfully. I mean, I eat organic.
Good.
I really don't eat very much sugar. I don't eat wheat because of being allergic to it. I don't eat cow's milk. I do eat goat milk, goat cheese.
All right.
And I eat a lot of vegetables.
Good.
And I eat fruits. And again, it kind of gets kind of limited just because of the things I can't eat.
Right.
I'm a lot of fun to take out for a meal. But I would say that probably at this point, my husband and I, for instance, for dinner, we each make our own dinner, and we have salads.
Wonderful.
So I would say we probably have that 80% of the month.
Okay, that works.
And so we'll put different things in, depending. Maybe we'll have some leftover chicken or something, and get some tofu. It just it just changes, but they're all, salads, and then I'll have some cheese and crackers or something along with it,
Good,
some
good.
goat cheese.
You made me think of something
Uh-huh.
that I'll share with everyone that's
Uh-huh.
listening too, is eating a big salad before if challenge yourself for some days to eat a big salad before. So I always tell people, they're like, I don't want to stop eating XYZ. And I say, okay, have a big salad before you
Uh,
eat whatever it is. Like eat the big salad and then no restrictions. If you want to have whatever it is, get the big salad in first, right? It's a
uh,
strategy because we know that once they eat big salad, they don't have a lot of room for, the French fries or the pizza or whatever, but in their mind, it's available to them. So they're not
uh-huh.
restricted to it. And then
Yeah.
they just keep eating a little bit less of it or a lot of it less of it. Yeah. So your salads every day. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do the same every night. I eat not always salads, but just a big plate of vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
get on every day, like I'll eat the same thing and then I'll change. So right now I'm doing eggplant.
Okay.
I
Interesting.
roasted eggplant with hot sauce on it. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That's just that's just my thing, like eggplant and hot sauce. That sounds crazy, but I love it. So yeah.
No, it sounds very good. It sounds very good. Yeah, and the other thing that I do usually is I'll cook, I steam or
Mm.
microwave actually these
Mm.
days. Um, some vegetables.
Uh,
Broccoli is a favorite.
it's another thing you can
Hmm.
get vegetables in soups, right? So that's
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
smoothies. It's another way because I hear
yeah.
people saying I don't like vegetables. And I'm like, none of them. Like there's a lot of vegetables, right? So you get them, hide them in your smoothie, put them in soups,
Oh
just
yeah.
to get them in. Yeah, there was I talked to somebody yesterday, and they were saying they love broccoli. They can't live without broccoli. And I was
Yep.
so excited, right? I was like, yes, and like with Velveeta cheese all on it. I'm like, oh
Oh,
no,
gross. Okay,
oh
sorry.
no. I know. So I was just because I was just so excited. I'm like, yes, and then they're like,
Yeah.
but I gotta have my Velveeta cheese on it. So I said, well, okay.
Oh
I don't
well. Okay.
know. Yeah.
Um, well, somebody's got to be buying it, I guess. They still
Yeah.
gotta have it on the shelf, right?
Yeah, they do. It is
Yeah.
on.
But
Yeah.
yeah. No, we're big broccoli eaters as
Awesome.
well. Broccoli and broccolini.
Yes. Do you grow food at all?
No way.
We grow hydroponically,
Oh, interesting.
which
I
is
know some other people that do that. Yeah.
the easiest way because I'm not one for, so we know that our soil is challenged. When
Oh,
you
that's
grow
right.
hydroponically, there is no soil, but you use the nutrients that should be in the soil, you put it in the water. And
Ah,
I yeah, so we grow and the yield is faster, it's more nutrient dense, and you can taste like the tomatoes taste like tomatoes or
wow.
the broccoli. It's
Okay.
so
Yeah.
the only thing like hydroponically you are not able to do are root vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So not like bulb onions or carrots, but we do green onions. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Wow.
love
Yeah.
it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go a lot to the farmers market because there's one just down there
Yes,
twice a week.
beautiful. That's
So,
another phenomenal point to make that if you
mhm,
all listening can get out to a farmer's market,
yeah.
if not growing your own, right? They're
Yeah.
very fresh and efficient in delivering it to you and giving it to you vine ripened.
Yeah.
Important. Yes. Very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah. And in season, you end up with the vegetables
Yes,
when they're in
yes.
season
Thank you,
instead of,
Susan, for saying that.
yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, this is kind of on the going back to the grocery store, but if frozen is oftentimes picked ripened because they're
Yeah.
freezing it, so they
Uh-huh.
can let it mature on
Right.
the vine. Yeah. But farmers market's excellent in season, vine ripened, freshly picked and available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot of the time, at least I know around here, a lot of the time it's actually less expensive than it is at the grocery stores.
Not here.
No,
What part of the world are you? I guess I'd say.
I'm in
I'm in,
Northern California.
oh, okay. I'm in Southern California.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
saw that. Yeah.
and you find it they're less expensive. Oh, hmm,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody, not
Hmm.
everybody, but
Hmm.
certain, certain vendors.
Okay, very good.
And it's all, and they're, this particular one is all organic,
Mm,
and
yes, and even
and
you can find healthier breads there. If a person is doing bread or gluten, out here anyway, there are fresh fresh bakeries that come to
yes.
deliver. So so much value in the farmers markets for
Yeah,
sure.
and
For
it's
sure.
just kind of fun too, especially if you have a family or,
Yeah.
grandkids or whatever it happens to be. Um,
Yes.
and you don't have to do it every day. Just I only go like once a week.
Yeah. It's awesome. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Very
So
good.
um
Yes.
anyway, so do you we could go on forever. I mean,
I know. I know
with
we
all of this.
could. I
We
know
could.
we could, but we shouldn't.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, is there anything, I don't know, I had gotten, little couple little notes and stuff, and
Yeah.
had talked about food addiction and
Uh,
emotional eating, because we all get into that, huh? We can
yeah,
we
we
can
do.
talk about that very quickly here. And
I can say this, and
Mhm.
this is what I want to say, is that oftentimes if a person has challenges with food and feelings,
Hmm.
I get clients when I was actively working as a more of a one-on-one
Hmm.
that would have some challenges with food. And immediately you feel or you think that you need a nutritionist, right? Which is not the case because food and feelings, so nutritionists work with food, but not food with your feelings, right? So
Yeah.
I would say that that is more of a therapy, um,
Okay.
a psychotherapist, yeah, therapy.
Hmm.
Now, having a therapist and a nutritionist can be a good marriage, but I always want people to understand and not expend money that they didn't need to, thinking that a
Hmm.
nutritionist can solve that
Hmm.
problem. We cannot.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
cannot. We
Yeah.
can recommend good mood foods. We could recommend foods that are functional foods that
Uh-huh.
function in your body and your mind and your brain. But we have, as humans, we have a lot going on. And
Mhm.
being able to uncover that at the root level, the root cause,
Right. Hmm.
that's not that's not what we do.
Yeah.
And but if I had a dollar for as many people have come to me with those challenges, feeling and believing that that a nutritionist was the remedy for that, and it's not. And the challenge with food is that there are addictive patterns and behavior, but it's something we have to do to live, right? So if we are
Right.
challenged by alcohol or any other thing that we maybe have some unsavory relationships with, you don't need them to live. You don't need alcohol to live. You don't need there's but food you do. So then how confusing is that, right? Is that thing that you
Right.
go to for your release and your emotional comfort, but you also need it to live. And that's
Hmm.
a very, very complicated relationship.
Hmm.
Very, very complicated relationship to
Right.
which a therapist with a nutritionist can help support you on
Hmm.
that. So that's what I want to say about emotional eating,
Yeah.
is that that's not my expertise. and, and it's true. And I
Uh-huh.
just I want to say that loud and bold because I want everybody to know, unless the nutritionist is a therapist too, that's not
Yeah.
expertise.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And
exactly.
then what happens is people feel like they've failed the person,
Ah, okay.
and it's but it wasn't the right
Right. Yeah.
pairing. And I want people to not go through that. Yeah. So
Hmm.
that is yeah, that is my emotional eating stance. Yes.
No, and that makes perfect sense, and we're not talking about people who um, just when something, I don't know, they have a fight with their boyfriend or their girlfriend or something, and they go and eat a big dessert or something like that.
Yes.
That's not what we're talking about when we're talking about emotional eating.
Correct.
This is something that has an actual definition
Correct. Yeah.
and a physical and emotional
Yeah.
um,
And
part.
even the eating disorders, the binging, the hiding. I know people that they eat in the closet. So really that they eat healthy in front of everybody. And then when everybody is away or asleep, they may go and, binge eat or do something else. And there's a shame to it
Oh
for
yeah.
some. Yeah. There is a shame to it. Food, like I said, food is so complicated. It is the most complicated, one of the most complicated relationships that we have. And when I started doing this career, I didn't realize how complicated it was. And
Mm.
it's very personal and it's very intimate, right? With people and their foods. And part of why I stopped working with clients directly, honestly, if I'm being honest, is I'm an empathetic person. And what
Mm.
happened was I would, because when you're someone's nutritionist and you work with them, you understand their pains and their family and their
Mm.
challenges and
Mm.
you just you
Mhm.
get that. And I had everybody's pain and suffering and joys and everything in between on
Yeah.
in and then it almost became I was not a therapist, but again, they everyone talks to me. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is a lot. This is a lot. Yeah. So I did step away from one-on-one, but I did it for more than 10 years.
Well, you paid your dues.
I did. And I still, what I love to do is I love to do things like this where I can share
Yeah.
and then, but I'm not absorbing everyone,
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that every person has a different level of what they can absorb and
Yes.
deal with. And that's
Yes.
why so many people are in different jobs and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's such a stress and all of what's going on mentally is such a huge part of gut health
Yeah.
or absorbing, right? So we talk about fruits and vegetables and beauty of the sun, but if you're unpeaceful in your spirit, in your soul,
Mm.
the two will stop you from absorbing
Mhm.
nutrition properly.
Yeah.
So it all mind, body, it all goes together. It's not separate. What you eat, what you think, what you feel, it's all married. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's all in the same body, isn't it?
in the same body. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been such a pleasure to talk with you and be here with you today. And I
Yeah.
do hope that your listeners are able to take some information that they can use.
Oh, I'm
So I think,
sure. I'm sure. I think we talked about some very important issues,
yes.
especially having to do with food and our
Yeah.
relationships to food,
Yep.
for sure.
Very
So,
good.
well, thank you very much for coming on. And I am going to say my usual, which at the end, which is that neither of us are doctors. And
Yes.
what we're talking about is not to be seen as medical advice. And if you are having any of the issues that we've been talking about, please go to your doctor and or some other kind of medical professional
Correct.
to get some support.
Very well.
And with that, I will say what I usually say, which is that I will see everybody else next week.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.